Hello, my name is Nur Alam Shafika binti Maksin. Today, we will talk an important issue about global warming. Before that, we should know the difference between global warming and climate change. Many people are still confused between these two phenomena. Global warming is the prodigy that enlarged the midpoint air temperature because of greenhouse effect that includes an increase of carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbon, and other pollutions which cause a rise in global temperature. While climate change refers to the increasing change in the measures of climate over a long period of time, including precipitation, temperature, and wind patterns. Now we know the difference between these two. Let's talk about global warming in general. There are many causes of global warming, like variations in the sun's intensity, industrial activity, agricultural activity, deforestation, and Earth's own feedback loop. The effects of global warming are not only for Earth, but also the living things like humans, animals, and plants. The global warming effects that happen to Earth are rising maximum temperature, higher ocean temperature, rising sea levels, thawing permafrost, and also shrinking glaciers. Global warming effects that give living things impact are the house will vanish, health risks, unbearable outdoor work, more allergies, heat stroke, dehydration, and more. This shows everything suffer from the global warming. Since we have suffering from COVID-19, the global warming effects are now decreased. This happened because the world, which means many countries, had been locked down due to COVID-19 and the pandemic was aggressive at the time. Since then, there are no cars on the road, factories are closed, or any other activities did not happen. Due to this, the cost of global warming was decreased and the people also had to stay at home. This shows that the cause of global warming is now diminished. There are a lot of proof that shows global warming are now decreased. For example, ozone layer at the Antarctic, which is perforated, are now closing. This ozone hole was once larger than Antarctic. According to Madhumita Jaganmohan, in 2020, the Earth's surface temperature was around 0.98 Celsius degrees warmer than 20th century average. In the last few years, global temperatures have been consistently among the hottest on record.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Azra Afika binti Malik Burhan. My metric number is 065827. What I want to convey through this video is about the causes of global warming. We all know that the main cause of global warming is due to the human activities. Do you guys know what some of the human activities are? So here I am to share with all of you about some of the human activities that have caused our Earth experience global warming. First, industrialization is one of the human activities that have caused our Earth to experience global warming. As far as we know, each country has their own industrial activities such as farming, mining, and manufacturing. The more developed an industry is, the more advanced the country is. This has made our Earth to experience climate change, which is global warming rapidly as well. The waste this industry produce such as methane gas from the landfills, sulfur oxides from burning the coals and petroleum, ammonia gas released through the agricultural processes, and more of it all ends up in our surrounding. The chemicals and materials used within the industrialization polluted the atmosphere and environment, causing our earth getting hot because there's a lot of wasted materials particles mainly released from the factories that are running these industrial activities. Every industry uses oil and gas almost all the time and release it to the atmosphere. The use of fossil fuels is also a threat to the wildlife and the surrounding environment because of the toxicity it kills off plants' life and also leaves areas uninhabitable. Secondly, there are many transport and vehicles produced every year. The significant use of transportation and vehicles results in gases such as carbon monoxide from vehicle exhaust being released into the air. Carbon monoxide that is too much cause heat in the earth to be trapped and eventually the earth temperature rise and its environment become hot. The large amount of transportation is done through cars, planes, boats, trains, almost all of which rely on fossil fuels to run. Burning fossil fuels such as gasoline, diesel, and other types of pollutant release carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. The release of these gases has made our Earth's ozone layer thinner, and when it gets worse, many negative effects will be faced by the humanity in the future. Thirdly, deforestation is one of the worst activity which has been done by humans to achieve national progress. Deforestation is the clearance of woodland and forests. This is either done for the wood or to create space for farm, ranches, and buildings. Trees and forests play a very important role in balancing our Earth ecosystem. It is not only a habitat and food source for flora and fauna, but it also helps to maintain our Earth temperature. Elon Musk once said that we're running the most dangerous experiment in history now, which is to see how much carbon dioxide the atmosphere can handle before the environmental catastrophe. Trees and forests turn carbon dioxide to oxygen from other life, especially humans. When the trees and forests are cut down, then the rate of exchange of carbon dioxide to oxygens done by the tree will decrease. When there is more carbon dioxide trapped in the environment and atmosphere, it will cause the Earth temperature to rise and eventually it will accumulate and cause the global warming. Besides, deforestation can occur naturally, which has a greater effect because of the fumes from the fire. Mankind should be aware of what has been done to this earth. These activities that I've mentioned, which are industrialization, transportation and vehicles, and deforestation, will not only damage the earth but also have a huge impact on humans and animal life in the future if no action is taken in saving this beautiful earth. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum and thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Given name is Muhammad Norekal Abdullah, and I will talk about the effects of global warming towards our environment. As we all know right now, global warming has a devastating consequences toward planet Earth, and it also affecting all the living creature inside it. One of the effects of global warming is the rising temperature of Earth itself. Based on research, the Earth is now 1.1 degrees Celsius warmer than it was in the 1800s. Research done by the UN shows us that year 2015 until 2019 were the 5 warmest years on record, while 2010 until 2019 was the warmest decade on record. Research also shows us that our global surface temperature has now increased faster since 1970. Warmer temperature over time are changing the weather patterns, and it also affecting the usual balance of nature. This poses many risks towards humans being and all other life forms on Earth. Not only that, global warming also can bring us to the increase of drought. Due to the rising temperature this day, water become more scarcer in more region, not only drought can destroy our plants, but it also can bring harm to us because it can cause a dust storm that can lift a billion tons of sands across every continent. Due to this problem, the deserts are now expanding and make us hard to grow food because the land that we use to grow food and plants are now reduced due to this problem. The most noticeable effects of global warming is the rising of sea and ocean level. As we all know right now, the ocean soak most of the heat from global warming. Not forget to mention, due to this problem, ice on South and North Pole are now melting and raises the sea level. But it is not the worst part for us, because the worst part for us is when the sea level are rising, it threatens the coastal and island communities, and a lot part of Earth is expected to be submerged in the water during 2050. The ocean also absorbs most of carbon dioxide from global warming and keeping it out from the atmosphere. For your information, the ocean absorbs around 20 until 30% of human-induced emission. This will make the ocean become more acidic and also raises the temperature of the water. The rise of temperature affects species of fish and microorganisms such as coral. The rise of temperature of water makes the coral going a process that called a coral bleaching. Now we all know the effects of global warming towards our environment, right? That is why we need to protect our precious nature to make sure our earth doesn't suffer much more. That's all from me, thank you.
Hi, I am Nurashan Bila binti Hakimi, and I will talk about ways to prevent global warming. Global warming is already having an influence in our planet in ways we can imagine. The temperature is rising day by day. Fortunately, there is always something we can do to combat global warming. First, use an environmental friendly mode of transportation. Do you know that transportation is one of the biggest factors of global warming? Millions of people drive to work. Driving is a very unavoidable thing nowadays. The disadvantage is that millions of automobiles generate greenhouse gases, which degrade our environment. So instead of driving using your own car, try to use public transportation like LRT, MRT, or monorail. This transportation really can reduce the carbon dioxide. These days, public transportation is made much comfortable and speedy. It may just exceed your expectation. But if you cannot use a public transportation, keep an eye out for alternative options such as carpooling. If you have co-workers who live in the same area, you can plan execution together. If you believe that driving your own car is more convenient, you should consider switching to an environmentally friendly vehicle, such as an electric car. However, if you only need to get someplace close to your house, instead of driving, ride your bike or just walk. This method is not only environmentally friendly, but also beneficial to your health because it is a great method to get exercise, and cost-effective because you don't have to pay for any fuel at all. Second, save energy. Other than transportation, electricity is also one of the biggest causes of global warming. It is a fantastic approach to reduce pollution by being more energy efficient. It reduces the amount of energy used by power plants, which might result in the emission of greenhouse gases. This signifies you should do everything you can to decrease your household energy use. There are a lot of ways to reduce energy at your house. One of the ways is always unplug any device that you are not using when you are done with them. Other than that, turn off the lights. There is no reason to have the lights on if you are not in the room. Next, compact fluorescent light CFL bulbs should be used instead of regular incandescent bulbs. They consume 70% less energy and have a longer lifespan than ordinary lights. Besides, using a renewable energy such as solar energy can reduce the use of energy in your house too. The third one is make the world green. Let us make the earth greener by planting more trees and reducing deforestation. Trees are a huge assistant when it comes to eliminating human-caused carbon dioxide emission from the atmosphere. Trees use photosynthesis to extract carbon dioxide from the air and use it to develop their leaf, branches, and roots. Forest soil may also store massive amount of carbon. Reducing deforestation can aid in the preservation of forest trees. So, let's say no to deforestation and say yes to reforest. Planting could be done by a huge group of people through a campaign, or could be done individually by planting around your house with a small plant like vegetable or fruit trees. Planting vegetable and fruit trees not only can make the world greener, but also can save your money from buying it from the stores, and it is a lot more healthier to consume. So, by planting more plants, we can get more oxygen supply and reduce the greenhouse gases from our atmosphere. There are numerous ways to prevent global warming, and people should work together as a team to make this happen because this problem is getting more serious now. So, people should be more aware of this and let's prevent it before it's too late. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Nur Aisyatul Radiah binti Zahari with the metric number 067062. To conclude, our Earth is now at a very alarming point. It is not enough with just a simple idle talk and empty promises about changing the world. The idea of a cleaner and a healthier environment remains easier said than done. Even though there have been many actions taken, such as passing the Clean Air Act 1963 or the Paris Climate Agreement, our war with the global warming are still far from being over. To make it worse, there are still a lot of disbelievers out there who think global warming is just a hoax and lies spread by the government. You may choose to believe it or not, but be warned, by the time you finally choose to believe, perhaps your home has already been part of the rising ocean. Our future is now. We have been slowly killing this planet for the sake of a greater good. But how great can the good be when the ecosystem is falling apart? There have been so many natural disasters occurring right in front of our eyes that were born out of our ignorance to our own environment. Quoting Boris Johnson, this is not some expensive, politically correct green act of a bunny hugging. Let us start, take action, planting trees, reducing the carbon dioxide emission, and use less chemical that were harmful to our own environment. If everyone took action in planting at least a single plant per month, the snowball effect will take place and our Earth can be greener again in no time. The best part is, it won't even make a dent in our pocket. Let us start now. Slowly but surely, we heal this planet. As the species at the top of the food chain, let us give back to nature as much as it has given us. Obviously, it shouldn't be a hard thing to do with our own innovation and intelligence, right? Let us do this in hope that our beloved polar bear will have their home back, the coral reef can survive again, and our ozone layer can be closed again. And also so that the planet can be greener again. The recent coronavirus outbreak has proven to us that there are still hope for us to save our planet. Besides, it also proven to us that when the world is at threat from the virus, we can all unite to fight it. we can do the same thing with global warming. Actions must be taken. Voices must be heard. There are steps need to be walked and a ground to stand on. Change didn't begin with the people of the highest power. It began when ordinary people, people of no particular power, wealth, or fame, decided that the world could and should be different. Fighting climate change calls for innovation, cooperation, and willpower, a quote by Narendra Modi. So, for the sake of our future self, future generation, and for the sake of the earth who had given so much for us, we need to start caring and stop polluting the habitat that we lived in. Thank you.